Sometimes people wonder if it is a spiritually and morally good thing to create useful products from the earth so that people and cultures become more prosperous, more wealthy. Isn't that just materialism? But I really don't think it is. When God put Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, he told them to be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. And when we study the meaning of that word subdue, it means to make the products of the earth useful for human beings. And so God, I think, intended that Adam and Eve would first develop simple means of transportation and maybe carts and wagons and shelters to live in, but then eventually that would lead to more complex things, all the way to today, cars and trucks and airplanes. And I think we should realize that it is a uniquely human activity and a wonderful activity that God enables us to explore and develop the resources of the earth and make them useful for our benefit, which is why we have houses to live in and roads to drive on and things today. I then look at the blessing of prosperity that God promised to Israel in the Old Testament. It would be hills filled with iron and copper, but they would have to dig those out and refine them and make them into useful products. And all the way to the New Testament in 1 Timothy 6, where Paul says that God is the one who richly furnishes us with everything to enjoy. And then you have the picture of the new heavens and new earth in the book of Revelation, where the kings of the earth bring the glory and honor of the nations into Jerusalem. I think that's the products that the nations have made, of which they are proud, and they're offering them to God for his praise. To take an example, I went into a shop near our home in Arizona recently, and there was a man who had these little plastic discs. You might think, what's this good for? It might be worth 5 cents or something. Might be a small ashtray if I smoked, but I don't, and so who knows what that could be useful for. But he put it in a machine, and when it came out the other end, it was a lens for my glasses, which cost $100 approximately. And then he put another one in and made another $100 lens. And so I have bifocals exactly suited to my needs, and I can see and I can read. Now that is taking products of the earth and making them into products useful for human beings. And in that way, prosperity or wealth is created in a nation. Every time a person does that. And animals don't do this. Only human beings make the resources of the earth into products useful for the benefit and enjoyment of mankind. It happens at a simple level. When a woman in a poor country takes a piece of cloth that she paid $3 for and sews it into a shirt that she sells for $13, she's increased the prosperity of her nation by $10 just by doing that. And so the question is, how can nations become more productive and produce goods and services of more value, not by working harder, but by better government, better laws, better economic system, and better cultural values that enable them to specialize and become more productive, which is really how every nation has become wealthy today that is wealthy today. And I think it's something that God approves of. Yes, there's a temptation to materialism and setting our hearts on material goods, but that's the temptation. That doesn't mean that the thing in itself is evil.